Chat. Chat. Oh, chat. Hello. Oh my gosh. All right, Jadime, say something for me.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing,
Yeah, there you
testing.
are. All right, Diddy.
Yep. Oh my God, I'm gonna turn this
Hang on. Wait a minute.
Lots
How
of,
is it?
lots of dad noises.
What's over here?
You got a heater on?
Damn straight.
Love that.
Yo, it's hot. I mean, it's cold. I'm
No, it
freezing
isn't.
all
It
day.
has nothing to do with it. It has to do with being old.
Yeah,
Oh,
dude's
it's
just
a-
getting old.
I was working hard yesterday.
Yes, Maria, what's up, my dude?
I'm cold, so
You're cold.
it has nothing to do with being
Yeah, it's starting to get
cold.
like
I don't think.
it's starting to get fall over here. I mean, it was warm today. It was in the upper 70s.
Yeah,
Took
it
a
wasn't
nice
bad
walk
until-
this
until
afternoon.
It started raining. Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of which, what the hell were you doing today? Did you
Who?
like even work? You.
Me?
Yeah.
I went on a walk.
Watching Dune and.
Oh no, Deanna and I. So on my lunch break, we had an hour of Dune left because I started falling asleep last night. It was kind of a day.
Have you read the book, Alex?
No, are you
Has
kidding?
Oh.
Deanna?
Dude, it's me. I don't read books. What is?
God. Could
Has
you follow it at all?
I don't know. Dune. It's a story about a
There is also a graphic novel, isn't there?
Yeah, but it's not as
It's not
it's not as
complete.
complete as reading the book. Yeah.
The book's better, but yes, you can get the gist of it from the
I heard it sucks.
graphic novel.
What, the graphic novel or the book?
Everything. I'm just kidding. It's fine. I really liked it. We're gonna talk about it on the show.
I
Hold
think
on.
it's hilarious that Deanna married a man that does not like reading books.
Listen, she still to this day has not seen Jurassic Park or Lord of the Rings. We all have
But
our
she's read the books, right?
No.
She's not read Jurassic Park?
No, I've
Hasn't
read them.
Jurassic Park.
I've read them, believe it or not.
I don't.
See, I can't.
Don't.
I did
can't
back
go
in
see a
like
movie like that
middle
without
school.
reading the book first.
No, I
didn't know Jurassic Park was a book when I saw the movie.
Michael Crichton, baby.
Michael Crichton.
Everything he's ever written.
I tried to read Lord of the Rings.
It's a lot.
It was too dense.
Yeah, it's like
Like,
a Tale
it
of Fire
just-
and Ice. It's all very dense.
The other problem
I've
I think
read-
I had is I had Lord of the Rings as like a mass market paperback. So like the print was flipping tiny.
Oh,
And that's why when I bought Dune, I just bought this weekend. I bought the bigger trade because the text is bigger and like it makes it easier for me to read.
I gotcha. Hold on one
My
second.
plan is to finish the book before I
works.
read. Before I watch the movie.
That works. Sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying my plan is to read the book before I watch the movie.
It'll do.
What other two?
Hmm?
Metaverse.
The other two books.
Well, there's 5 other books.
Yeah, and Dune. I know. I don't know what they're
Yeah.
gonna do. But yeah, we got to talk about it at the top of the show. Here, speaking of which, let's do that. Hold on. Let's bring this down. What do you guys say? You want to start the show?
Let's do it.
All right, we're gonna start it happening in 3, 2, 1.
It's
wrong
time
thing.
for the news.
Wrong button. Hold on.
I don't think that's the way that works.
I don't think that I pushed Q instead of 1. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Joystick and Mouse video game news and reviews. For all you filthy casuals out there, my name is Alex. I go by Crossing the Gaming Community, and with me, as always, is Diddy
Howdy, folks.
and J-Dimes.
Good evening.
Good evening. Friends, welcome back to another show. We are streaming live over at twitch.tv/AlexAlbisu and youtube.com/AlexAlbisu. If you're not watching live, what are you doing? But hello to Nismaru in the chat, as well as other folks that start to pop in. Today, we're focusing on the Metaverse. What is it?
Meta.
How does it work? How do we start living in a world like Ready Player One? Why should we be so excited or terrified about this? There's lots to unpack as we look at the evolution of this metaverse. Most importantly, how this affects games. Probably not most importantly, but most importantly to us, for the sake of this show. We're going to talk about all this and more on this episode of Joystick and Mouse. Before we do, gentlemen, I need to talk to you about Dune. Okay? Dune was a fantastic experience. I'm just gonna throw that out there. It was great. I had a lot of fun watching that. So Deanna and I sat and watched it. Let me think. It was last night. It was Sunday night, and it's a long movie. You know, we got a couple of young kids, so we got about an hour 45 into it, and then I started to notice I was like dozing off, not out of like boredom, but just out of sheer exhaustion,
weariness.
Yeah. So I ended up put it on pause, and I was like, Deanna, this is like up there for me, and she agreed, but we were just so exhausted, so we went to bed. And then I had some time during my lunch break, and so like eating lunch, we finished Dune, and guys, that's like one of my favorite movies of all time. It's up there.
Now, one of my best friends hit me up today. He was like, "This movie is trash."
Why is he?
He's
trash?
like, "I should have read the book."
Who the fuck does he think he is? Does he listen to the
know.
show? Tell him.
I don't.
Were
so
you
what?
able to follow it without reading the book? You haven't read the book, right?
Yeah, and I haven't seen the movie, but he has. He said he had trouble keeping up with it. Like it didn't seem to be the coherent.
If you haven't read Dune, I like the first. Okay, so everybody trashes the first movie. The first movie was actually pretty good,
And it was
if
the
you
whole
read
book.
If you read the book, if you didn't read the book, you wouldn't
does not hold
understand or wouldn't know what the hell was going on because there
But
just
then
was no.
But then, Diddy, it's not a good movie, right? Like watching the movie, in my opinion, watching the movie should not require you to have read the book in order to enjoy it.
See, then they shouldn't do the movie. Then they should do a movie in that universe.
Oh, well,
Well, I think what they're doing now is great.
I've never watched any movie that was based on a book and like felt like I didn't understand it because I didn't read the book.
Yeah, but Dune is one of those
It's deep.
books.
I'd never read
It's
Lord of the
imagine-
Rings,
really deep.
and I felt fine with Lord of
Yeah,
the
but
Rings.
you got 3 movies to get.
Well, that's
to get
true.
the
Yeah, I was
gist
gonna
of
say,
it.
like Dune, they're splitting it up into possibly a trilogy. They've locked in 2 movies for sure. It's probably gonna end up being at least a trilogy.
Every
And-
John Grisham movie ever, I've never felt the need to read the book.
Yeah, like I don't read, so like I just, I mean, like I do. It's not my passion like Deanna's, and nothing against people who read. You're fine and everything. I just prefer not to. I prefer to watch.
Marvel has made a dynasty off of getting people to watch movies that they haven't read the books.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I don't know, man, but
Not
I
that
gave
deep.
it gave me the
Spider-Man's
same.
not that deep, right? Come on.
But it gave me the same vibes that like Star Wars gave me. It's the same sort of hero story that I really glommed onto with Luke, and then seeing like Paul and all that. Like it gave me that same sort of like feeling, and I just love the characters. The acting is great. It's just fucking beautiful, by the way. It is so pretty. What a beautiful movie. So if you have HBO Max, I highly
I
recommend
mean, listen, it's got
I heard
that.
it's really
It's
good.
got Zendaya. It's got Jason Momoa. It's got pretty people in it.
It's got great actors. They're all so good in this movie. They like everybody's really good. And prepare yourself because it ends when you're like, oh man, here we go. And then you're like, shit, that's right. It said part 1 at the beginning. So we're now awaiting a part 2.
You're halfway through the first book.
Yeah, and that's the weird thing. If they're talking about a trilogy, how are they going to do that?
I don't.
If they're a sixth of the way through, or not even like.
Wow.
How many books are there?
6. Well,
So
there
they're
are 6
12th of the way.
total, but there are really 3 that people
Yeah.
focus on. There's the original 3 that Frank Herbert wrote, and then later on he wrote 3 more, and then his son has written like some prequel stuff. But I think most people focus on the first 3 books,
Which is fair. I mean, because
so
that's core.
maybe they do 2 movies on the first book,
I would say
and
you
the
could probably
back
do-
movie is a conglomeration. Conglomerate.
Conglomeration.
Yeah, that of the back 2.
Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. It's very good though. I would highly recommend people watch it.
If you want to see something
yeah.
great that ties into Dune, Jason Momoa has a YouTube channel, and he has a video of him getting fitted for a suit for the Dune premiere, and he goes to like the oldest tailor on Seville Row and gets them to make him a custom
I believe he would have to go to
tuxedo.
anybody to make a custom suit. That is a big man.
And the tuxedo that he has these folks make is so far out of, I believe, what these people normally make when it comes to suits, but it's a really nice suit. And he drives himself in a really cool Rolls Royce to the premiere. It's like 5 minutes, but it's quite entertaining.
Yeah, I just pulled it up on.
I just saw the other day that there's a season 2 of Sea Out. And I did not realize that. I'm gonna have to watch that.
Dave Bautista is in it.
Yep.
Playing his brother.
Super cool. I
That's
like.
a good show. You haven't seen that.
I really want to see that. And the two of them are like great, by the way. I love everything that both of them are in. So I'm in to try that. I just haven't yet. Look at Jason Momoa looking all slick. It's weird seeing him in a suit. That's strange. I feel like he should just be like always
a suit with no shirt.
Yeah, always in like cargo shorts and no shirt or something.
I actually don't think I've ever seen him in a picture in shorts. I feel like every time I've seen him, he's either in like jeans or dress pants.
Oh yeah, all right, interesting. By the way, I want to do a quick plug for my own Twitch and YouTube thing, because we're going to be playing Phasmophobia tomorrow. By the way, the brand new Phasmophobia update dropped today, so we have new content, new ghosts that we can hunt, brand new map where you're outdoors, you're in some kind of a campground, and there's weather and other stuff that you're dealing with. It looks really good. So instead of, I think we were going to be playing something else, but tomorrow it's got to be Phasmophobia. It has to be. So if you want to hunt ghosts with us, make sure that you're following. Become a subscriber or a patron. That helps you get to the front of the line whenever we have queues and everything. It's a lot of fun. We always have a lot of fun. So we'll be back here tomorrow night doing that. I'm sure Nismer and chat will be happy to hear that. Diddy, you have liquid cooled stairs. Talk to us.
Well, Tim tried to make me do liquid cooled stairs. So you know how it is, any home renovation project you ever take on requires you to get out every tool that you own, throw them all over the floor, and make at least 3 trips to Lowe's or Home Depot or something to that effect. Well, that's what we did this weekend. I saw this in a picture somewhere that somebody had replaced the wood balusters in their stairs with iron. And I watched a YouTube video and I was like, that's really easy. I'm going to do that. Fuck. I'm telling you, man, was it a pain in the ass. Our stairs, so these townhouses, when they build 100 of them at once. The stair baluster, the stairs all come prefabbed. So the balusters are nailed from the bottom. So when you take them out, there's a big nail sticking up through the middle. So you can't drill the hole. You can't drill the hole out to drop the iron in that you're supposed to do it. The angles are all wrong, so you can't buy the things. I had to cut every one of them and so it was a pain in the ass. I had every tool.
Did you finish?
Yeah, the downstairs and the middle level are finished. I need to do the upstairs yet.
I didn't see any finished pictures.
Fortunately, the upstairs are all flat. There are no angles, so those will go much quicker.
I'm trying to log into Facebook. For some reason, I'm logged out of Facebook on this computer, and I was trying to pull up the pictures.
Here,
he was.
Let me.
It was every single tool was out in
I have like, DeWalt drill. I got drills and I got a Sawzall and I got the right angle drill and everything else was out. to do these balusters with. It was
So
ridiculous.
funny, man.
Yo, let me
So
just
funny.
tell you,
I
that
had to
sawzall
Dremel
that
go
you
out.
have, I feel like is overkill. Like Jesus, dude.
A little bit, maybe.
Were
but,
you planning to demolish a house at some
No,
point?
but you got to cut the balusters in half.
He was going to cut the concrete
That's how you get
under his
'em out. You
basement and
can't
start
get 'em
building
out.
a fourth floor underneath.
So once you decide to do it, you're committed because you have to cut the baluster in half to get it out. So,
Oh,
You're nuts, dude.
Yeah.
You're nuts.
Yeah.
I love it.
but it came out beautiful. Once it was finished, it came out beautiful. It was really, really nice. One of my other friends said, "Never trust a man with a magnetic level."
You should post it on on Twitter. Have people take a look there. I was trying to look for it on Twitter. I didn't see
I
it.
will post on Twitter.
Yeah, because I can't log into Facebook. But yeah, I was like, hey, you're missing a plunger. I think I said because he had every other tool out there except a plunger.
Oh my god, they were all out there. It was ridiculous.
It's wild.
But
wild.
it came out. It's one of those things, you know. It a lot of frustration, a lot of cursing, a lot of blood. There was a little bit of blood.
Blood.
You
Oh,
getting yourself hurt or what?
You know what really hurts is so I had a Dremel tool and I had to trim the metal
Oh no.
on these things that
I know where this is going.
and I don't know if you guys know this, but when you grind metal, it's really hot afterwards.
Oh, that
yeah.
yeah.
You should not touch it.
No.
I have a nice little blister on my thumb.
Oh.
Mm,
Or you should wear gloves, Don.
What's a glove?
See?
What?
yep. Yep.
What?
See?
Gloves?
Gloves.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
But he's alive, ladies and gentlemen. He's here.
But it came out really
podcasting
nice.
with us. He's fine.
Just barely.
I'm working on posting the picture.
Don,
Well, good.
It ain't safe.
Tim, anything you want to update the friends at home on? Anything going on in your life that you need to talk about?
I had an adventure
Oh,
out to an archery store this
an
weekend.
archery store.
Yeah, so a buddy of mine gave me a compound bow
Oh, cool.
because hunting with a crossbow is cheating. And his
Is it?
It's
What?
it's not illegal. It's just cheating. So
Is it cheating?
well, I mean, it is a lot easier. Than
It's like a
using
gun.
compound bow.
You point shit.
Yeah. So in most states, you are allowed to hunt with a crossbow, but you can only do it during rifle season.
Okay.
In Virginia, I think partly because we've got an excess of deer, they will allow crossbows during bow season. So, I like my crossbow. It's great.
Yeah.
But he gave me a compound bow, and I needed to go get it adjusted, get the pull adjusted, because it was a little too heavy for me, someone who is not used to using a compound bow. So I drove out to this great little shop at the end of the world out in Warrenton, right over the Gainesville boundary. I never knew a bow could be so expensive.
Oh
Like,
my god.
Buying one or
Really?
maintaining it or what? All the above?
Buying one.
Yeah.
Really?
Man. So I asked the guy, like, after he adjusted my bow, I was like, just for giggles, like, if I bought something new, like, what would like new technology feel like? So he reaches up, he grabs a bow and he hands it to me, and it's significantly lighter than my bow. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like
Is it carbon?
like it was either carbon or like
Or have
aluminum
carbon
or
pieces, like
yes.
the arms,
something
twin
something
arms
light.
are carbon. Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is night and day. He's like, yeah, it's pretty light. I said, now, what would something like this cost me? And he was like, well, that one's about $1,200. And I looked
Shit.
at him, I was like, wowzers.
Wow.
was like, yeah. He was like, you can spend over $2,000 on a bow.
Easy.
There's a guy
Yeah.
that I follow on Instagram who has like who designs bows for a company called PSE, and his newest bow is like $2,400.
Wow.
Now, apparently, they also hold their value well. So if you want to trade up, a few
Okay,
years later,
so you
whatever,
can you could
get your money
sell
back
it.
for
And,
it.
yeah,
But I was just like, whew. But
that's
it's
too
nice.
much. That's wild.
It's nice.
Yeah, well, that's fun. So you're gonna go ticket hunting?
But I'm gonna start with target practice first.
Nice.
The learning curve is different than the learning curve on a crossbow.
Yeah.
But I could see
Well,
if
the whole
somebody
form
was
to
a
it.
serious
Yeah.
bow hunter, and you've got to like schlep this thing through the woods.
Oh
like,
yeah.
I'd want the lightest thing possible.
Well, that's like Matt. Or you remember Allison, our friend?
Yeah.
So her husband does that. He hunts with a bow, and you should talk to him. He's got a whole bunch of thoughts on it. It's pretty cool.
Does he shoot a compound or does he shoot a recurve?
Compound, I think.
Okay.
I don't know. I never saw it, but yeah,
You never seen it?
that's what he goes and he hunts deer and gets.
There are those
venison.
hardcore people that'll be out there with the recurve,
Yeah.
and that's a whole other skill too.
Yep. Well, hope you have fun with that. Stay safe. Don't shoot an eye out. And
Try not to.
friends, we do have a lot to talk about when it comes to this metaverse. Why don't we jump right into the news? It's time for the news. Now, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg has been making news lately by talking about the metaverse. Zuckerberg says it's the future of Facebook and the internet. And this has been something that's been in the works probably for several years. I think actually this has been it really kind of from a thought process perspective for decades. If you think about, books that have been out talking about this kind of digital world that we can all live in. But now that technology is kind of in a place where we have the power of the cloud and data centers, as well as visual fidelity and VR coming into a place that is like no other, we have an opportunity to experience this metaverse, in a whole new way. So author Neil Stephenson coined the word metaverse in his 1992 science fiction novel called Snow Crash. I didn't read it because I don't believe in reading. Okay. Diddy and Jane Imes, did you guys read it?
Never heard of it, but I might look for the audiobook.
Actually, I might want to look at it.
I did not read it.
In all seriousness.
I thought go on. I'm not a big Stevens fan.
Oh, okay. Well,
I've never heard of the man.
Yeah, I hadn't either. It is telling the metaverse is a virtual reality version of the internet, where an alternative universe exists in a shared VR space using real world concepts like roads, buildings, rooms, and everyday objects. And people move around in this universe as avatars, which are 3D representations that can interact with each other through their avatars and also interact with avatar-like entities that are really software agents. This is also very similar if you've seen or read Ready Player One. This concept and what this is kind of why this is now kind of a big topic, not just for where we are from a technology perspective, but from where we are from a social and a business perspective. It really makes a lot of sense. People from a business perspective are looking for better ways to interact and collaborate that doesn't require traveling. COVID is a great example of where this has actually been really successful using platforms like Zoom. And Facebook is actually interested in even rebranding its entire brand and evolving the way it thinks about social media to being a metaverse first company. So I want to pause there, gentlemen. I want to hear from you. What are your all's thoughts on this concept, kind of high level?
I don't want it to have anything to do with Facebook.
Why not?
I don't trust them.
No?
And I don't want anything else socially attached to Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook.
Yeah. I kind of have a similar feel for it because it's a very people just don't trust they don't trust Facebook anyway with their data and their security. And there's actually, and we're going to talk about this in an upcoming part of the segment, but there's also a big kind of security kerfuffle going on with Facebook at the moment. And the whistleblower over at Facebook was really surprised to hear that Facebook is actually hiring 10,000 engineers in Europe to be working on the Metaverse project. And her response was, yeah, but like, what about hiring 10,000 people to work on your security? Think about what we could do there, right? And I think that whether, you know, and we're going to talk about other players, so we'll get to that piece, but I think that, you know, companies like Facebook, people that have a lot of power kind of behind the scenes of what we see all day, there's always going to be that, what's this Metaverse thing going to be? You know what I mean? Diddy, what are your thoughts?
You know, I hadn't thought about it that way, but yeah, the more that the world rolls along, the less I sort of want Facebook to have to do with it. So, you know, can we have somebody else? I don't know if I trust the big guys, but can we have somebody new come along and do this? Maybe, please.
Yeah. Well,
Give it to Google. Don't trust Google.
See, I don't trust Google either. I don't trust anybody anymore.
why don't we actually, you know, let's take this opportunity to actually skip Tim, your part. Diddy, why don't you take a moment and queue up your part 2 down on the list, because let's talk about the players.
Oh, hang on a second. I'm like in the middle of something. Can't.
Oh, I got you. I can do it for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So there are a ton of players involved with developing the Metaverse, and there's a push for this to be an open platform. But with this many players, can it actually truly be open? So I found this cool article that kind of shows some of the different technology partners that are kind of behind the scenes working on this Metaverse concept. And we're going to talk about how this impacts gaming, but I think this gives you a good kind of view. Even products like EVE Online having a sort of a tie into the Metaverse. Epic Games is a huge player in the Metaverse. These are some of the products around the virtual worlds: Dreamscape, Crucible. Unity is over here on, you know, kind of the display side of things. And you know, it's not just the virtual worlds themselves, it's the technology behind it. So the actual VR platforms that these can run on, the hardware infrastructures, the programming engines and asset creations. There's literally a company called Metaverse that is doing this. So yeah, I mean, like, and the idea from a gaming perspective is that we'll see companies like this creating assets and platforms that will work cross-functionally within this Metaverse infrastructure that will allow us to perhaps have a central hub, which is the Metaverse, and then be able to go into games like Fortnite or you know, Roblox or whatever that will carry over the same avatar that we are, but playing the game. Any digital assets like NFTs, which we'll talk about the economic piece, but like actual online assets will carry over game to game. So what are your all's responses to some of these, to this idea of an open source platform that works really cross functionally, and then with all these names that are on this list?
I don't think the open source is going to work for something like this.
Yeah.
Somebody has to be in charge of the world. You know, like,
but if
you
this
can
is,
you can give,
I don't know.
You can create the world in such a way that it can accept plugins, and maybe you allow third-party plugins. But what I think we're going to see first is maybe a lot of different metaverses with marketplaces that may or may not allow third-party interaction.
Yeah. Because companies like Apple, by the way, are not on this list that I showed you, but Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, Epic, like all those are big companies. Microsoft plays a little nicer than Apple does in some cases. You know what I mean?
In most cases.
Most cases.
I say that as an Apple fanboy, but they are.
No, yeah, me too.
They will definitely take their ball.
But you know, I don't agree, by the way, that this would be so the way that this is being positioned is Internet 3.0. Let's just say 3.0, because this is what we're on now is like kind of Internet 2.0. If this is Internet 3.0, like, Internet isn't, to our knowledge, it, like, you know, really owned by a single entity. It's simply the platform in which we communicate and collaborate and share information, right? What would be said if like it was developed in a similar way, this stuff in that same vein?
I mean, the internet as a commodity is this vast network that is seemingly not owned by anyone, but your access is.
Yeah.
So you have to make a choice. Okay, I'm going to go with Cox. I'm going to go with FiOS. I'm going to go with Comcast. And we all know that depending on who your provider is, your experience will vary.
Yes, it will.
So,
and that's why I kind of like hesitated when I said it's not owned by anybody, because when you look at some of the internet providers,
well, technically it is, right? Technically, the servers and the backbone and the infrastructure are owned by companies. They're owned by somebody. If what is it? GLE is the backbone company. Or somebody got pissed off and turned off their servers. I mean, we've seen it, right? We've seen detrimental. We've seen a trunk go down on the East Coast. We've seen what the hell happens, right? The world is in an uproar. So I actually like the thought of open source. I like that thought because open source inherently has a policing built into it.
Right.
Nobody can take advantage of it too much.
It's democracy on the internet.
Yeah, somebody will always take advantage of it, but nobody can get too into it where they can seize control. Open source software usually works really well, is very pluggable, very configurable, very hard to use. So, I mean,
and generally not very pretty.
And not very pretty. So that's where I think, yes, your concept of having plugins, being configurable, being able to have different rooms for the metaverse is an excellent point for that. But I like the concept of the backbone itself being open source, because like I said, it has a certain amount of policing built into it.
Exactly. And where that kind of leads to is this gaming aspect that it jumps on that kind of spirit of like everybody working together to be able to play whatever game you want on whatever system you want. It's cross play. There's a lot of cross play elements to this.
We see how that works now.
Yeah, Jay, why don't you go ahead and queue up the next section here? That second section.
Okay. The idea of a metaverse screams potential for gaming and creating a single place where gamers can collaborate and play. So what are the plans for it in the context of gaming?
And Jay, what are your thoughts?
I mean, it would be nice, right? Like, I think in theory, it sounds like a great idea. I think the problem is we haven't really seen it work in practice anywhere.
Yeah.
It doesn't work in practice, because it doesn't matter what we're talking about. There are the haves and the have-nots. And I think in a metaverse, you'll have exactly the same thing. You'll have the haves and the have-nots.
Yep.
And those that want and those that have. And that'll be, he's talking about this driving economy, and I can see it working exactly like it does now.
Right. Yeah, and the actual, we'll get into the economics of it here in just a second, because just thinking about companies today that are like gaming companies that are really leaning into this idea, companies like Epic are all in. Tim Sweeney is like all in on this. And we'll talk about he's actually going to be part of our economics piece here in a second. But then companies like Epic, I'm sorry, not Epic, because we just talked about Epic, NVIDIA, are partnering with companies like Google to provide cloud-based VR capabilities, which we'll talk about in full stream ahead. So kind of talking about them now, I know, but like, you know, we're seeing a lot of companies really wanting to invest in this from a gaming perspective because they see the desire from the communities out there to want crossplay and to want to have digital assets that they're investing in be able to be carried over from game to game. So companies like the games like Fortnite and Roblox are really kind of like the big ones to really lean into this right now. So the idea is that you would have some kind of a let's say like a skin in some kind of a game that you have that is perhaps exclusive to you. You can carry that over from Fortnite to Roblox or something like that. That's kind of the vision, right? And then that leads ultimately to kind of this concept of the economics of it all. There was a, you know, the I'm trying to find my notes. Oh, here it is. So how does this all make sense economically? NFTs and play to earn games are a big focus for how it's possible. So why don't we talk about first of all this play to pay? Am I saying that right? No, play to earn. Excuse me. So sorry, my notes got all screwed up here. So yeah, this idea of play to earn is really neat in concept, and I wanted us to kind of talk about this. So the gaming industry has shifted from a system in which a large percentage of the earners are developers. The play to earn games have resulted in income generation for the gamers, and the metaverse increases the game earnings potential. So a large number of the existing metaverses today are powered by a blockchain technology. Users need cryptocurrency or NFTs to transact on these networks. And the play to earn games have their own metaverses with native cryptocurrencies that are used for transactions and receiving rewards. So you can take these, like let's say you make Ethereum on one of the games that you're playing. You can actually take that Ethereum and trade it on real world markets. And you know, the games are getting paid by, you know, kind of creating by doing the transaction on your behalf. But it's kind of a neat model that also leverages NFTs, cryptocurrencies as ways to entice people to play. And it kind of reminds me of like a casino in some cases too. So what are your all's thoughts on that from an economic perspective?
I guess, but I think what I would find more intriguing is, like, I don't like that kind of game, right? I don't like that experience. But hang on, let me take a step back. I don't like that experience, right? I don't like the desert portion of this. But there's something over there that I want. So let me go over here to the winter portion, do what I want to do, get that currency, go over there and use it there using their currency. There has to be that interaction, that transparency between different entities in the metaverse to make it work. If it's going to be just a bunch of, you know, self-contained entities like it is now, then, you know, like I can't use the gold I make in World of Warcraft in whatever other game and it is I'm playing. You know,
Yeah.
I can't go to the Division and buy new guns from stuff that I made in World of Warcraft.
Right.
Unless that happens, unless it's one big open world with the same economy flowing through all of it, then I don't see it working.
Well, and that's the
I
beauty I
think
think of
you-
cryptocurrency though, because you can use it transitions however on the exchange. Sorry, Tim, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think you might have a better shot with that within publishers. So you might get a more seamless experience like that with Ubisoft across multiple franchises of their games, and with Activision across multiple franchises of that game. I think we sit and look at this and say, in a perfect world, everybody's going to play nice with this, and they're going to want to give us an experience that's seamless. And I think that half will be true. I think they'll want to give us an experience that will be seamless within the properties that they can monetize.
Mm-hmm.
Nismaru's not wrong,
And
though.
so,
right?
So what?
Nismaru's not wrong. This is the digital version of the European Union.
Very
right?
true. Yeah.
I have my own local version, but I also have a universal version that everybody can use.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
and I would say to that, look at the European Union right now. Right? Like, it worked as long as everybody felt like it was in their interest. And the minute Britain didn't think it was in their interest anymore, the biggest dog in the race was like, nah, I'm out. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, and I still think what the European Union does, I still think it's a great thing, right? It's unfortunate that Britain walked away from it, right? But I think it still leads to that argument that people will participate into it in as much as they can monetize,
And it makes
and
sense
profit.
for them, right?
Right, as long as it makes sense for them, right? So, to me, Ubisoft and Activision, I don't know what common ground they'll find.
Yeah.
Right? What common ground are they going to find that makes it beneficial to them to participate?
I'll tell you
together.
I'll tell you
But
what it
you-
is. It is the economics. It is the literal like cryptocurrency NFT market that is booming right now and is slated to be that future of currency as
I
we
mean,
know today.
maybe.
I think it's us. I think it's audience, right? It's if I can take my thing from Epic, right? The thing that I get in Epic, and I love this thing, right? And I can go over and try it out in Microsoft world, then they've got another user. They've got another person. They've got another body that will come.
That's true too.
Spend
Very well
time
said.
in their ecosystem, right? So it's us. It's us. They're after.
So some companies, I think, will inherently be links that other folks will want to latch onto, right? Companies like Microsoft, like Google, like Amazon, right? They inherently have something that everybody else is going to want, and they can't necessarily replicate. And it's infrastructure. Apple, even, right? Like, these are going to be your infrastructure blocks because they have the servers, the technology, the infrastructure that are going to keep this thing supported, right? And everybody else who's making content, like, content is great, but you need the infrastructure, right? It's the same thing. You know, to me, this is a supersized version of what we've been talking about in Full Stream Ahead for the last 3 years, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And it's still going to come down to those major technology holders who aren't making content. I mean, some of them make content, but content is not where they make their money. They make their money on the back end and what they can support and provide.
Yeah, and you know, that's actually a really good opportunity for not that one. Hold on. Wait, that one. I'm
You're
on
having
it.
trouble with that board tonight,
On
man.
Diddy, why don't we talk about the Full Stream Ahead piece?
Okay, so the big portion of this, right, is how do you immerse yourself in this world, right? We want it. If you've watched or should have read Ready Player One, you know that they had a haptic suit. They had a full rig to let them experience the world as if they were in it. Well, the VR headsets of today are powerful, but they're not that powerful. And we need to figure out, industry needs to figure out how to bring that to to the masses. And like Tim mentioned a little bit ago, we've been talking about this for the last 3 years, right? It's cloud computing. Cloud computing is how you bring that to everybody. You move it off of my headset. If I can hook my PlayStation VR in there up to a server somewhere and have it do all the processing power and just show me the feed, that makes it viable. That makes it worth it, and that makes it doable. And I see that. I can see that happening. We have the same problems that we have with all the when we talk about cloud computing is bandwidth to the person, right? But once that's solved, sorry, once that's solved, you know, I'm firmly believe that 5G and or 6G and or whatever G is after that.
Nobody's putting microchips in my arm.
They go to H. Maybe you got vaccinated. You already have microchips in you. You stop.
We endorse vaccinating for COVID on this show. Let's be very clear.
But yeah, I mean, cloud computing and cloud gaming, it specifically definitely seems like the future of this.
Yeah, it's kind of wild.
Nobody's gonna have the horsepower to run this at home. I mean, you're talking about.
I can. I'm so good.
We
at this.
can't even run it now, right? A lot of us in this community have the big ass rig sitting on our desk, you know, that is, you know, very, very powerful, and we still can't do VR. It doesn't do VR well.
Yeah, it is insane. Like the amount of horsepower that it would take to replicate something like the Oasis from Ready Player One, astronomical, right? Like
Yes.
there's so much happening all at once, and you would need to be able to manage
But
that.
question in Ready Player Run,
Ready Player Run.
Yeah, that didn't want to come out at all.
Runs
Ready Player One.
Yes.
Were they running that off of localized rigs?
No, the rigs were just an interface to the servers.
Right. Yeah,
which
man.
was
I mean,
running
which is
everything.
yeah.
what we've been talking about for 3 years, like this cloud server, this I forget what you call it when you just have like the one little device that's just the connection.
Oh, like
know,
a thin
it's
client, like a thin client.
Yeah, you just have a thin client and you plug in, right? Like that's
hilarious about this is the way computers used to be, right? You had a dumb terminal.
Yeah.
You guys old enough for this?
Yeah.
No, I'm familiar.
I mean,
yeah.
no, listen, isn't it what they show in
right?
Hidden Figures? Like it's the same thing they show in Hidden Figures.
Yeah.
Like they had dumb terminals and then they had these big.
Yeah. There was VAX sitting back in the server room somewhere that everybody was hooked up to.
Yeah. So here's something else that this made me think of, and we didn't talk like we didn't really go in this direction at all. But I wonder if this direction might be closer to a reality. Going back to like think about Google Glass, and whether that becomes like the sort of infrastructure where you really see the world that you want, right? You put these glasses, these goggles on, and you walk around, and the connection will have to be there. I right now, I don't know that we've got the connectivity infrastructure, like the amount of Wi-Fi out and about in cities. But listen, if the companies figure they can make some money at it, we'll get there. Where you really do see a HUD on your world.
Right.
Google Glass was the incredibly fantastic concept done unbelievably wrong. Just
but listen, but look at where we are now, Don, right?
They had to make
was
it
it
look
really
like
done wrong?
I don't think it was done
They had to
wrong. I
make
think it was
it
done
look
too
like this.
early. Yeah, well,
look
that you're not wrong about. The concept of the wear piece was not what it should have been, sure, but it was still the concept, I think, and even that execution wasn't wrong.
Was perfect. The execution was just poor. They
know.
didn't take into account I don't want to say chastisement, but you know, the ridicule that somebody wearing those in the everyday world would get.
Yeah, but listen, everybody that's got a dream and tries something new and is on the cutting edge.
Well, I don't blame them for
gets
trying.
I mean, listen, I ridiculed my roommate in college for spending $700 on an iPod. Generation 1.
I was ridiculed
iPod,
for
right?
for buying an iPhone when they first came out.
I mean, but still not as bad as people that were walking around with these $700
Yeah.
MP3 players, right? Now you take those two devices. Here we are, what, maybe almost 20 years removed from an iPod, if not more than that, at least 20. Probably at least a good 15 from the original iPhone. And imagine your life if you didn't have those devices, right? Like, I think, yes, people got ridiculed, whatever. But there's a certain amount of like learning
You put it out there.
and yeah, putting it out there.
Totally.
That's just like, it's worth it. I
Yeah.
mean, listen, maybe it wasn't worth it to the user. Like the user might feel like, I got, whatever. But to Google, to like those R&D people that are now looking at where they want to go with this metaverse.
Well, and
was
Apple's making
great.
making AR glasses supposedly now, and you know that it's going to be beautiful whatever they make.
Yeah, listen, yeah. They'll call, what's old boy's name? The design guy.
Oh yeah, what was his name? Johnny Ive.
Yeah, they'll call Johnny Ive in, and we'll have like some
And-
great looking.
And that's exactly what I
specs.
mean.
Yeah,
And-
that's
and
exactly.
but-
Yeah.
Make it look
But
good.
listen,
no,
they couldn't have done that kind of design
oh, I'm not saying
when
it
they
was-
did Google Glass.
Oh,
right?
I'm not saying that we didn't get something out of it. You know, the engineers and stuff, they got what they wanted out of it. They just
Yeah, it was too early for its time.
trust
Honestly,
me,
it was
I
too
would
early.
love to have a pair of
Well,
glasses that would show me somebody's
And
name.
Google knew it. They didn't try
Yeah.
to sell it to the masses. You know what I mean? Like,
That's true. It
I
was
tried,
like
to,
here.
I tried to get a pair of those things and I never could.
No.
The only person I know that actually got a pair was Joe Stern.
Yeah, I remember Joe.
And
yeah.
I mean, you think
remember
about
him
all
walking around with it,
between
too.
the three of us, all the people that we know,
Yeah.
right, that are like technologically inclined and would have like nerded out for that. You and I know the same person, Alex.
Yeah. Yep. Remember that wasn't there some kind of another thing like a Snapchat little device that like you had to go to the Snapchat store to get? What was that?
Nah, I don't know.
It was something similar.
Oh, I don't remember that.
But listen, here's something else. Here's something else to think of, right? Another preparation for this, Pokemon Go. How much
They're
did those
on that.
people get?
They
How
are.
much
Yeah.
did those people get ridiculed walking around with the phone, like trying
the
to
way,
catch Pokemon?
Niantic is
But-
on that list now of
Yeah,
companies that are investing.
They're on that list.
You know,
I absolutely see that. No, how cool would Pokemon Go have been if it had been in your glasses?
that'd been rad.
You could have put on a pair of glasses and seen the Pokemon standing next to the tree in the playground. I mean,
So
been
here's
awesome.
here's a funny thing to think about with this, right? Because I think we can go one of two ways with this. And one of them is very dangerous and disturbing, and the other one is like, oh, we're gonna add a layer of color to the world. We can either get this technology in glasses, or it becomes technology that only exists in like a VR setup. And in one of these situations, people still go out into the world, right? They're just interacting with the world in a different way.
Right.
And in the other way, these people become trolls. And they don't leave their little basements or caves or gaming chairs for days and weeks on end. And it becomes, I see my own little world,
Mm-hmm.
but I no longer really interact with the world. And I know that seems like two like far ends, but like if you just look at the way like technology tends to like interact with society, it always skews like one extreme or the other.
Yep. I'm gonna be curious to see what happens
I'm not sure.
with it, because there is a lot of evil potential for this. This is like some fucking evil mastermind opportunities at
Well,
play.
yes, we've skirted around it, but you know where the first place this is going, right? There isn't any doubt about that.
No. I mean, we talked about it with
That's
Facebook,
the first
too.
place it's already gone. Like,
well, yeah,
it went there like way before. Like Oculus went there in its early stages. That was the first place.
Did they really?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not surprised. It's just
It was, yeah. I mean, yeah. Look, at the end of the day, I choose to see the good potential in what this technology is going to bring to the world.
And I see both.
And that might be great potential for
sure.
somebody. Listen,
Yeah.
I'm not knocking it. I'm sure there's an audience that needs it.
I do. I need to escape.
Folks with like handicaps and all sorts of things.
Could you imagine?
That avenue is great for. And I'm not knocking it.
Yeah.
Right. They get to
get
out and interact as a normal person. Yep.
I'm just worried about the people that don't really have a handicap that is holding them back.
Mm-hmm.
That then this becomes a crutch.
Maybe. And you know,
I think we already have that, right? We already have online games are already a crutch for those people that don't have the social skills to go out and interact with people.
There's gonna be some growing pains, just like anything else, any huge cultural, societal impacting, technology impacting thing. There's gonna be some pain.
Yeah.
But I think the potential outweighs. I think we can't lose track of what. I'm a real optimist when it comes to this, because I think that there's so much potential for this. So we'll see, and we're going to talk about it more as technology unveils. But hopefully, this gives you an idea of what kind of this vision of a metaverse is, kind of an online next level of internet, and what internet is going to evolve into, this world that we can enter and get information and collaborate on, and how it's going to impact gaming. So if you want to write in and provide any insight, you can email joystickandmouse@gmail.com. Next up, I want us to talk about a game.
Yes, and the reviews were so mixed. They were. Surprised.
Diddy, do you want to kick this one off? Because Diddy and I actually have the same game.
Will.
We're going to talk about it. Go ahead.
So, released on Xbox. If you have Game Pass, this week was Marvel Avengers.
Oh, great!
It is awesome. I've been streaming it recently. I'm just having a blast with it. I love the starting character. Everything about it. And I'm not a big Square Enix combat fan. A lot of their games, I just dislike the combat a lot. This one's good. This one's done well. Not too much of their normal stuff, but just enough. Yeah, and it's you get to play as the Avengers. I'm still playing as Hulk. I like standing and smashing things, so I'm just having a blast. It's a really good story. I mean, we talk about this a lot. We talk about, having a good story. You could probably just put Avengers and be able to play as the Avengers and it would be fine, but this one actually has a really good story. So I'm only a couple of hours into it, but I'm having a blast. It's a lot of fun. Great combat, good characters, good story. Excellent job by the Square to put it out.
Yeah, Square Enix.
Yeah,
and this game, it's had a lot of pushback from players talking about how the game felt repetitive or whatever. There's an online portion where you can play with co-op experiences, and I think that people were expecting something a little bit more deep, and it plays a lot like a Destiny or Division or something like that, but you're playing as an Avenger. And when you think about kind of that expectation and what the game is there, perhaps it might be a little repetitive, and there might be some disappointment. But for a single player campaign, like I'm playing through the first couple of missions so far, and I'm having a really good time. I
Yeah,
really am. From a very
I-
casual perspective, it's
I
so
don't
fun.
find it repetitive that much, and I think the different characters' abilities are different enough that it doesn't feel repetitive at all.
Right.
I think it's a game that really lends itself to you putting it on easy and playing the game.
Right.
Like I could see that if it becomes a game where you're dying a lot and you have to keep replaying parts over and over again, I could see how that might become irritating.
Oh, there were some of those.
With the amount of repetitiveness in the game.
Yeah,
right?
I am, and where I was actually going to go with that comment is like, I was actually dealing with a bit of bugs. With some, like, you know, it's no surprise he plays Miss Marvel in the game for a good portion of it, and there were some bugs like just traversing terrain where you're expected to kind of jump and grab certain things, where it was real finicky, dude. Like it was not letting me grab onto certain things, or it was like the jump was too long, or like it wasn't very friendly in that regard.
Timing just wasn't tweaked.
Wasn't like it wasn't intuitive, right? And like I will fully admit when I am shit at a game, like these sorts of games are games that I'm pretty good at, and I feel like I have a really good time traversing things. That is, and when I encountered those situations, I was like, that kind of set a bad tone for me, but it didn't take away from still like the fun that the game is. So
yeah, I haven't had that at all. I haven't had any bugs.
Oh, really?
Not
Good for you.
Yeah.
Oh, good for you.
Not that I've noticed. Anyways, yeah, I actually it's been really smooth.
Good. So your favorite Avenger that you've played as so far is Hulk?
Absolutely, Hulk.
Me too.
Loved
I
it.
love it. I love the scene where you're running through on the very first mission. You're running around the Golden Gate Bridge and it's collapsing, and you're trying to jump back and forth.
Yeah, and you
got that was so fun.
Jump on the, yeah, I mean, never just you walk on the, you know, you're running on the walls and stuff. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I enjoyed. Who was it that was shooting?
Iron Man.
Was it Iron Man that was shooting the drones? Yeah, that one was sort of fun too.
Yeah, Iron Man flying around and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's got a little bit of something for anybody if you're looking at adventure games kind of as a whole. Download it for free if you have Game Pass, which why don't you if you
Game Pass is the best value in gaming.
The best value.
Easily.
Go do it, and it's because it's now available on Xbox and PC. So I'd
I'm
seen
playing on PC.
Yeah, like I had seen a bunch of reviews for it and was thinking about getting it for PlayStation, but now I'm glad I waited because I got it for free, or within my membership. So yeah, go play it. What would you give it, Diddy? Like what rating out of 10?
I would give it a 9 to 10. It's a really good game. Really good,
Yeah,
lots
really
of fun. Like I haven't had any bugs or problems, so really smooth. Beautiful graphics. Just well done.
I give it a solid, like 7, 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 probably. Only because sometimes the fighting feels just slightly clunky, and then a couple of those bugs that I experienced. But other than that, it's great. And I'm very much looking forward to playing through the campaign, playing through the additional stuff like playing as T'Challa and Hawkeye and some of those other campaigns. It feels like a gift that keeps giving for a time where I'm loving Marvel content in general.
Have you played any of the multiplayer though?
No,
I haven't. I haven't played any co-op or anything.
No, we should play. That'd be fun.
Yeah, we should.
That'd be fun. Are you playing on PC? You said.
Yep. Yeah.
Sweet. All right, maybe we'll figure that out. But until then, friends, that's going to be it. Why don't we clap it out? Everybody watching live over at twitch.tv/AlexAlbisu or youtube.com/AlexAlbisu, thank you much for being here. We record every Monday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern at one of those places. If you'd like to see all of our contact information, head over to joystickandmouse.com. All of our contact info is there, and you can also become a patron of this show specifically by heading over to patreon.com/joystickandmouse. You can get merch over at shop.joystickandmouse.com. Let me think. What else? That's it.
Sure.
That's it. All right, gentlemen, why don't we do a quick round of goodbye, starting with Diddy.
See you later, folks.
J-Dimes.
Take it easy.
And me. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. So long.
If you like this show, check out more great content at incastmedianetwork.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
All right, GG's. All right, I think I'm going to go play some of that now before it gets too late and I start getting too tired. Might go play through some more of that story. I'm really liking it.
On for a couple minutes.
Yeah. All right. Well, chat, thanks so much for being here.
Yes, thanks, guys. Good to
See
have
you
you.
guys later.